Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey, Jason, Dylan, Mel, John, Pauline. The first episode of the 2026 season.
Once we get to this point in the podcast cycle, I start to get excited for baseball. It's still 6 weeks away, but the predictions and talking about these teams and laying it on the line and telling everybody exactly what's going to happen this baseball season to full perfection, just like I did last year. I can't wait.
Yeah, you get a little tingly getting into this part. Pitchers and catchers are either reporting or will end up reporting in the next couple days.
Yep.
Especially with the World Baseball Classic, which we're gonna, keep an eye on. A lot of our favorite players are in there. Last World Baseball Classic, Trey Turner saved the United States.
Captain America.
Yep. Aaron Judge looking to do the same. A couple of fun ones out there. Jazz Chisholm playing for Great Britain.
Dominican team looks stacked.
Led by catcher Austin Wells.
Yep.
A lot of Yankees out there, which is unusual for the World Baseball Classic. They don't tend to really play. But now they do. You had a couple wonky things going on with players not being able to get insurance, like Francisco Lindor. That was really, really odd. Team Puerto Rico almost had a fold. I don't know if they did yet or not. I think that's still up in the air. A lot of weird stuff going on there. But let's talk about some of the major league teams, some of the teams from the actual season that we're going to really follow for the next, 9 months, 10 months. But a couple of free agency moves before we get into the National American League West, I should say. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Philly great, went to the White Sox to win a World Series. 2 years, $20 million. He said
we didn't get into AL Central predictions yet, so
no, but he's very confident that he's going to learn to win with the White Sox.
Hey, I believe him.
Harrison Bader signed a 2-year, $20.5 million deal with the Giants. Eugenio Suarez signed a 1-year, $15 million deal to go back to the Reds.
Yeah, we talked about these ones.
Yeah.
Just because you took the week off on a little vacation doesn't mean that we weren't grinding away
I was
here.
in sunny SoCal.
Yeah.
Golf game was strong. Having a lot of fun. Miguel Andujar, 1-year, $4 million with the Padres. Did we get there?
Yep. Talk about the big one. Happened today.
I'll get there. Did we talk about Marcell Ozuna, who's not from the Braves? He's from the Pirates now.
We did not talk about that. We didn't get there.
1 year, $12 million. Marcell Ozuna of the Pirates.
John's most underrated team.
Yeah, just more of a reason now. Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt back to the Yankees, 1 year, $4 million.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the run it back Yankees last week.
How about Luis Arias with the Giants, 1 year, $12 million?
Didn't get to that. Actually, a sneaky good move for them, in my opinion.
I agree.
Like an actual impactful one.
And we'll talk about that one more when we cover the Giants in the NL West. Do we talk about J. Ram's extension, 7 years, $175 million? Keeps devaluing himself. I don't know how the MLBPA allows him to do this.
I don't know either, but good for the Guardians.
He's a $300 million plus year, overall player.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever loved Cleveland this much, including LeBron.
I mean, LeBron's left.
Yeah.
Twice. And he's probably going to come back to leave a third time.
Well, we'll leave to retirement.
I don't know about that. He needs to rip their hearts out once more. David Robertson retired. Justin Verlander to the Tigers.
There we go. Huge. Skubal, Valdez, Verlander, three-headed monster.
This has to be the goodbye tour for Verlander, right?
Gotta be.
He comes back to Detroit, a place he never wanted to leave.
Yeah.
I was reading a story today about how Verlander actually vetoed the trade to the Astros initially, and Dallas Keuchel called him after he vetoed it and was begging him to reconsider.
Please,
and they got the trade into the MLB headquarters at 2 seconds left till the deadline passed. I think it was like 12:58, and it was done at 1. but like it was like in 58 seconds or whatever. Like 12:59, 58, they finally got it processed.
Crazy.
Also, Valdez, did he get signed like what is a day or two after we?
Yeah, right
like,
after.
yeah, that's
Just like we said would happen.
Yeah.
So Detroit, by the way, a team that we also didn't talk about. Well, exactly what I predicted. When will he sign? In about a day or two. Where?
Yeah.
None of the teams we talked about.
That's not how it always happens.
Check and check. I mean, that's how this offseason went, really. I felt like a lot of guys were going to teams that we hadn't heard them with. Bichette to the Mets, now Valdez to the Tigers, Pete Alonso earlier in this offseason. So the Orioles feels like forever ago, but it's just a lot of teams that kind of have been coming out of left field, and you're like, wait, you were in the market for them?
Even like, was it a Naylor to the Mariners? Was a little bit surprised.
Yeah. What do you call it? Even Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers. I felt like by the time it happens, we were kind of like, oh, Blue Jays or Cubs.
Then now we have IKF to Boston, 1 year, $6 million.
Classic.
Talking some smack about the Yankees.
Yeah, whatever. Screw you, IKF.
Carlos Santana, 1 year, $2 million to the Diamondbacks. So he gets to continue being that veteran presence.
Nice.
And then we also had a pretty big trade between Boston and the Brewers. Caleb Durbin, Andrew Monasterio, and Anthony Siegler go to Boston. Milwaukee gets Kyle Harrison, Shane Drohan, and David Hamilton.
Yeah, Boston needed a third baseman after Bregman went to Chicago. And Durbin, man, he fits their team. I'll tell you that.
I think Jared Carabas put it really well. This is a move, if you're a Red Sox fan, you get really excited for after you sign Bregman. This is a move you get really annoyed with and upset about after you let Bregman walk, and this is your replacement.
I disagree. I think this is a good move for them. Don't get me wrong, Bregman's a better move, but I don't think that this is a move to be upset about. I think Durbin is a young, exciting piece to be happy about. He was pretty good for Milwaukee last year, who, by the way, was the best regular season team in baseball. Durbin was a part of that club. He is a utility piece. He can play infield if you need him to, so still young.
But I mean, like, you got rid of Devers, you have Bregman, and now you're left with, I
mean, I got to be honest. If I was a Red Sox fan, I'd still be happy that Devers is gone. I mean, he just became a locker room cancer. And it's not like when we're going to talk about the AL East, nobody up here is going to pick them to suck. So,
but I think with Boston, trading away Kyle Harrison is a massive overpay for what they got in Durbin. Like, if you look at what Durbin's been traded for, I think it was like Lucas Litke. The Yankees got him from Atlanta.
I mean, yeah, back then.
But like now, Kyle Harrison, now everything you basically traded Devers away for is now gone for the most part. So that's a botched trade.
I still disagree. I think they're better off with Durbin than Devers.
No, they're better off with.
It's not to say that I think Durbin is a better player than Devers, but where he was at in that clubhouse, from what we know, and this is just what we know, he was clearly a massive problem to them. What was going on behind the scenes? And now you have a guy who I think more so fits Boston and fits their youth and fits their grittiness, fits their toughness, fits their effort.
I will say I'm not thrilled about facing him. What is it, 13 times a year now you get to play?
Yeah.
But I still think Devers scared me infinitely more.
Well, Devers was a Yankee killer.
But who's to say Durbin won't? They have, Marcelo Meyer and all those great players, Roman Anthony.
Yeah.
I just think that
super young core and tons of great pitching.
I just think it adds more of a what if than a stability into the lineup.
Again, would they have rather kept Bregman? Yes, they showed you that by trying to get him back. And maybe it wasn't a good enough attempt to Red Sox fans. Like, that's fair to say in a vacuum, but this wasn't plan A. I think Durbin is a solid plan B.
We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what other moves they make. And, as spring training gets going, there are other trades that do tend to happen as teams reevaluate their rosters.
Yeah, if it's not going great, trade for a vet at the deadline.
But even before opening day, we'll see another couple trades happen.
Yeah.
Where teams try to solidify some things. We'll talk about the Red Sox in a few weeks. But right now, I want to kind of get into the American League West.
Perfect.
Last year, 2025, the Mariners won the division. They were the only team in the division to make the playoffs, 90-72 overall record, followed by the Astros at 87-75, the Rangers at 81-81, the Sacramento A's at 76-86, and the LA Angels at 72-90. So let's start it off with your AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle lost 4-3 to Toronto in the ALCS. Cal Raleigh, 60 home runs. All-time great season from a switch hitter and a catcher. They added a couple players. Josh Naylor to play first base, 5 years, $92.5 million. Andrew Knizner is a catcher, 1 year, $1 million. Rob Refsnyder to play right field, 1 year, $6.5 million. They made a couple trades. Brendan Donovan, he's going to play second base most likely for them in a 3-team deal where St. Louis in that deal got the Mariners, the MLB number 91 overall prospect, Urangelo Cinte. They got Seattle's number 11 prospect, outfielder Ty Pete. And then they also got Tampa Bay also got number 24 outfielder Colton Ledbetter, in addition to competitive balance picks, 68 and 72 going back to the Cardinals. Tampa Bay gets third baseman Ben Williamson as well. So that's a pretty big trade for the Mariners to solidify somebody who can play a bunch of positions and had a breakout year last year. They also traded for Jose Ferrer, a reliever from Washington. They sent away Harry Ford and Isaac Lyon. Ford was somebody who was, thought to be a really instrumental piece going into last season in Seattle. Cal Raleigh just completely squashed that. He was blocked as a catcher. They figured send him away while his value was high, not while he's a backup. But they lost Eugenio Suarez to Cincinnati, Luke Jackson, who's still a free agent, Caleb Ferguson went to Cincinnati, Jorge Polanco, he went to the Mets, Mitch Garver's still a free agent, he's not there. So my question for you guys is, can Seattle, with the way they're constructed right now, take that next step needed to be a World Series team? Or is this going to be similar to like the 2023 Orioles, where it was one season they, shine bright and then they kind of falter?
Well, I'll tell you something that the Mariners have that the Orioles didn't, and that's a solid pitching rotation. Wu, Castillo, Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, and they even got some guys waiting in the wings ready to go. They have Andres Munoz, who is, a top 3 closer in the AL, and that's probably being like just, hey, everybody will agree with this statement here. And 2 MVP candidates in J-Rod and Cal Raleigh. Do I think Cal Raleigh ultimately regresses a little bit this year? Yeah. Like, I doubt he has 60 home runs again, but he's still the big dumper. He's still going to have a ton of pop. J-Rod, I think, actually might take a step forward this year. Could easily see him being a 40-40 guy. And then you have glue guys around them on this team, from Naylor to J.P. Crawford to Randy Arozarena to bringing in a Brendan Donovan, who's a solid utility piece, some young guys that you hope could take a step. There's a reason that this team was in Game 7 of the ALCS last year with a team that took the Dodgers to Game 7 of the World Series. You could argue last year the Mariners could have won the World Series. Yes, they lose Eugenio Suarez and Jorge Polanco, and I do think that those are decent, sizable losses, but could the Mariners take that next step this year? To answer that question, absolutely.
I don't know if there's much more to say.
You
covered everything. I mean, but the biggest thing is they have a really balanced team between hitting and pitching. Like, it's not like they're not really, really strong in hitting and then weak in pitching, kind of like the Orioles are. They're not, they have both. They got pitching and hitting. And J-Rod, I feel like he's another one of those guys that gets like overlooked a lot too, purely because he's on the Mariners, but he is an MVP level player when he's healthy.
My big concern for this team would be if Cal Raleigh had not just a small regression, But if he regressed to 35 home runs this year, where is their offense and pop coming from? Losing Eugenio Suarez and replacing him with Brendan Donovan, you could argue is an upgrade in terms of fielding. But in terms of who is driving in runs, if it is not Cal Raleigh, I'm not sure that there's somebody on this team that I fully believe in to come up with that big at bat. I think that over the course of 162 games, they will win a lot of games off of the strength of their pitching and just kind of the median of who their team is. But in terms of in a playoff series, I still think that they probably will want to get a bat again at the deadline.
I think the biggest thing with the Mariners is I think their pitching staff has the potential to be by far the best in the majors. They have the highest ceiling out of any rotation in the league. Like out of all the guys you named, I mean, you have Wu, Castillo, Gilbert. Like these are elite arms, and any one of them can be an ace on just about every other team, or at least has the potential to be. I think we haven't seen the best of this rotation. I think they're all still improving. We saw Wu become an all-star last year. I'm very high on Wu and him taking a step forward. I think that they're a team that they can just ride their pitching, even if Raleigh regresses to 35 home runs. If that pitching staff, they can have realistically 4 guys with a sub-3 ERA, and we wouldn't really be that surprised at them individually.
Yep.
It's just how often does that all work out where you have all 5 guys in a rotation have elite years? It doesn't, but they have the potential where it could. Like if I told you in a vacuum Luis Castillo had a sub-3, would you be surprised? Or if I told you Logan Gilbert had a sub-3 or Wu or any single one of them? I think that's the difference maker, and that's why they probably, in my mind,
in the 9th, they're handing the ball
you're handing
to
it off
one of the best closers in baseball. It's not like these guys, are going, because I think there will be nights, especially in that ballpark, where Seattle's got to win some 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 games. But their team construct allows them to win those kind of baseball games.
Yeah, I mean, you can go 8 innings with your starter right to Munoz, and good night, you're done.
And it doesn't matter who's starting for them that game. If that's what the game dictates, they have a starter that could do that. There's most teams in baseball, they have a guy at their 4 or 5, some at their 3, where it's like, yeah, we're probably going to need to score 5 runs to win this game.
Yeah, I just think with Seattle, they need to start trusting their pitchers more. We've seen a lot last season and the year before. Guys with the lower pitch count are being taken out 6 innings, 5 innings. They're not allowing those starters to go deeper into the game. And I think that's something they need to do if they're going to want to compete with like the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, and some of the other better teams. Trust in your arms. Your bullpen is good, not great. You have a great elite closer, but the rest of your pen is fine. It's nothing, extremely special. Let your starters, ride the greatness that you have. And I think that's going to be a big difference between being, a 100-win team and a low 90s win team for Seattle.
Yeah, I definitely think that could be a game changer.
Now, my next question about Seattle, which addition do we think is going to be, to make the biggest impact, and which subtraction is going to hurt them the most?
The subtraction that I mentioned already, Eugenio Suarez, I think that if they don't replace his power, whether it's Naylor or somebody else stepping up on the team, that would be what I believe hurts them the most. In terms of addition, I'm very high on the Brendan Donovan deal, just because I think if J.P. Crawford gets hurt, if you want to play Donovan at second, if you want to play Donovan at third, the flexibility he gives you, he could play any position in the infield left to first base.
I think it's easy to say Suarez as a subtraction is going to hurt the most, but an underrated addition is Rob Refsnyder. We saw how Boston used him in the playoffs last year as a bat off the bench, somebody to spell a starter, somebody who will take good professional at bats. And these teams that win the World Series, that go deep, they can play all 26 men on their roster. And I think having Refsnyder play some outfield, somebody who's now had postseason at bats just like the rest of their team, somebody that has faced off and fought against some of the best pitching, that The Yankees have a great rotation. They face the Blue Jays a lot. Those are AL East teams that Seattle only faced.
I mean, the Tigers now.
Tigers, right. Those are, great pitching. He faced two teams that Seattle might face in the playoffs a lot last year with those pitchers that are still going to be there. And Seattle doesn't face them as often, being on the West, the West Division. Ref Snyder puts together great professional at-bats, and I think that's going to be big for Seattle as a pinch hitter or just to give a Rosarena or J-Rod or whoever a spell. He's a more than capable starter, and I think it's flying under the radar.
Yeah.
I just think them re-signing Naylor is big because it helps keep the lineup, pretty much, strong and consistent, even with losing Suarez. But it helps. I think.
Well, they need him to be big.
They really need him to step up. So
they do. They need Naylor to really be what we thought he was going to be in Cleveland.
They need some more power out of him, more pop out of him. It has to have more than 20 home runs and stuff, and just has to have him keep hitting for average too. But I think that's probably. You said the other thing, but I think this is probably the biggest one that they're relying on for him to actually pan out.
Now, let's go on to the second place Houston Astros. The Astros added Tatsuya Imai, starter, 3 years, $54 million, and pitcher Ryan Weiss, 1 year, $2.6 million. They made a couple trades. They got Kaiwei Teng from San Fran for Janiel Villarreal, plus a $250,000 bonus pool money. They traded They got Nick Allen for Mauricio Dubon from Atlanta, the shortstop, Nick Allen. Then they made a 3-team deal. They brought in Michael Burrows, a starter. Tampa Bay in that deal got Jacob Melton and Anderson Brito. Pittsburgh got Brendan Lau, Jake Mangum, and Mason Montgomery. So they added a couple players via trade. They didn't really do too much in free agency. And they have a couple subtractions. They lost Framber Valdez to Detroit. Brendan Rodgers, he's on Boston's Double-A team now. Victor Caratini to Minnesota. Luis Garcia and Ramon Urias are free agents still. Craig Kimbrell is now a Met. And Chas McCormick is with the Cubs Triple-A team. So after missing the playoffs last season, and now they lost their ace in Framber Valdez, is the roster good enough to make some noise in October?
I can't count them out.
It's hard, right?
When you look at the lineup, I know it's on the older side for some of these guys: Altuve, Correa, Yordan Alvarez, Jeremy Pena, Jake Myers, Christian Walker. Like, there's still just dudes everywhere in this lineup that you are terrified of. At home, they're going to get to rest Jesus Sanchez, play Yordan in front of those Crawford boxes, and you'll have Paredes DHing or Correa DHing and Paredes playing third. Like, the lineup is just stacked for Houston. Their biggest concern, question mark this year, is how deep and good is this pitching rotation? Hunter Brown, we all agree, is an ace, but outside of him, is there anybody today you're confident taking the mound in a playoff game? I love Tatsuya Imai, but
Hunter Brown, though, are you that confident in him being an ace taking over for Framber?
I'm confident in Hunter Brown, but that's to be a good, great pitcher. Now he has to be elite.
Yeah, I was going to ask what we expect out of Yordan, Altuve, Imai. I just think it's tough, and I think. Remember a few years ago, the Rays were that gritty team that just always seemed to make the playoffs and make some noise, and you just figured, I can't count them out. Could the Astros be getting to the point where we don't want to count them out, but that's more out of respect for the past than in actuality what their roster really, lends on?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the year where we find out.
Yeah, they still have a stable core, and this core has proven they can grind out wins time and time again. And and they still have big bats. There's still big bats. Like, you can't just count out Altuve, Jordan Alvarez, and Pena, and Correa. Like, you just can't count them out. They're still good.
Yeah, Jordan's
the biggest question
is
just the
bounce back
pitching
candidate ever.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest question is just the pitching, and it really, I think, it comes down to Tetsuya Imai. What you have with him? Like, is he going to be like most of the other Japanese pitchers, that have come on to the MLB, or is he, where's he at?
And do you get a step up from a Christian Javier, a Lance McCullers, a Spencer Arguetti? Like, do any of those guys step up to be sub 3.5 guys on your team and a guy that you could depend on in a playoff series against some of these AL lineups? Or do you have to rely heavily on a bullpen that, yes, Hader, Abreu, King, like these are good pieces, but how much do you put on their shoulder? One, in big games, but two, over the course of 162. How many innings are these guys having to eat while the pitching rotation works itself out is something to think about as well.
Like the way they're built, they have a great structure to the team, right? They have a bunch of great pieces, but they have no filament. They have nobody to bridge the gap between the good and the not so good. You have three really great players in the bullpen, but after them, you have a bunch of question marks in the rotation and the rest of the pen. Hunter Brown, can you really trust him to be the ace? Or is he somebody who's a good pitcher, but might not be able to hunker down and hold a rotation up on his own? That remains to be seen. All the other guys you named, Already and all them, what do? Can they take that step up? Javier and all them. Now, what is Altuve another year older? Jordan coming back from injury, and is he going to be the same? Imai and his adjustment to the majors as opposed to Japan. Correa, another year older with a lot of lingering injury issues that have.
I will say with that, though, at least having Paredes and being in
Right.
Houston with the Crawford boxes, you have a lot of opportunity to
You have a lot
DH
of
Correa.
opportunity. So I think the offense will be fine, but the defense seems like it could be very suspect. The pitching, big question
The
mark.
pitching will make or break the Astros in 2026. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
So let's go on to the next team and we'll figure out where the Astros now fall into this a little later. The Rangers, third place, won the World Series just a couple years ago.
And by the way, had the best run differential in this division last year. Like them missing the playoffs, I felt like was very unlucky. There were stretches where I thought they were the clear best team in this division.
I agree, and I think the Mariners kind of coasted to just being the best because they were the only one that didn't really screw up out of all the other teams.
Yep, and consistency kills in 162. Yeah. So absolutely, I wasn't trying to take away from the Mariners there, but I was trying to give credit to the Rangers of they were closer than their standing in this division may make it seem.
So they added a couple players. Jake Junis, the reliever, 1 year, $4 million. Chris Martin, the reliever, 1 year, $4 million. Tyler Alexander, the reliever, 1 year, 1.125. Alexis Diaz, the reliever, 1 for 1. So it looks like they're really trying to bulk up that bullpen. And then Danny Jansen, the catcher, 2 years, $14.5 million. They made a couple trades. They traded for Brandon Nimmo from the Mets, sending away Marcus Semien. That's a trade I really want to kind of talk about more because I think that's going to have a big effect on the team. Mackenzie Gore coming to Texas. Washington, they get Gavin Feen, Dean Fitzgerald, Abimele Ortiz, Alejandro Rosario, Jeremy Cabrera. Jock Peterson now also exercised his $18.5 million option, so he's sticking in Texas. And then they lost a couple guys. John Gray's a free agent, the starter. Patrick Corbin, the starter, is a free agent. Tyler Mahle went to San Fran as a starter. Rowdy Tellez, the first baseman, is a free agent. Danny Colomé, the reliever, is a free agent. Marcus Semien, as we said, got traded to the Mets. Adolis Garcia is now an outfielder for the Phillies. Merrill Kelly, the starter, went back to Arizona. Hobie Milner, he's a reliever. He went to the Cubs. Phil Maton, another reliever, went to the Cubs. Dylan Moore, the infielder, he's with Philly now. And then Jonah Heim, their catcher, he's a free agent. So it's a lot of different guys now on this team. It's going to be a much younger team. But how will the Semien trade affect the lineup and the clubhouse?
Well, so I think that the Rangers kind of took a weird approach to the offseason. There was a point when I thought, okay, this team is selling. They want to go young. They want to step into a new direction. And I look at the team today. You still have Seager. You still have DeGrom. You still have Eovaldi. You still have Jock Peterson. And I'm like, okay, so the Rangers are kind of one of those weird middle spots where I think they want to see how the first half of the year plays out. And if they're not in playoff contention come the trade deadline, I think they could be the biggest seller. I think we could see DeGrom moved. I think we could see Seager moves. However, I also think if they're are in playoff contention, this is a team that'll load up on bullpen arms. In terms of the Nimmo trade, I thought it was interesting. The Mets really wanted to get off of his contract to make a lot of the moves that they wanted to make. I think in Arlington, in that field, Nimmo's fielding will be needed. They're moving him over to right field, which I think suits him better for this point in his career. I don't have a lot of faith in Nimmo, but I also don't have a lot of faith in Simeon. To me, it felt like two guys at the end of their MLB run, overpaid, and I guess overstaying their welcome in their current clubhouse, that got swapped for each other.
I just wonder because a lot of stories came out about Seager and Simeon in the locker room. I wonder how much of that held them back last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're willing to find out in the first half of this year. I think that's why Seager wasn't moved after, despite speculation this offseason.
Well, I mean, Nimmo's going to give him a boost in like OBP and run creation, and like Corey Seager and Wyatt Langford can really benefit from that. But I mean, they still have like good pitching with. I mean, they have Mackenzie Gore, DeGrom, Evaldi.
I mean, the ceiling for that rotation.
I mean, it's. I mean, it can be elite. Like, there's possibility for it to be an elite rotation.
Right. And that was actually going to be my next question: is where does the rotation of DeGrom, Eovaldi, Leiter, and Gore rank in the majors?
It can be elite.
I mean, that depends on the day. I mean, it also depends on the health of these guys and where it holds up. Like there's so much what ifs mixed into this rotation. What if Mackenzie Gore makes the leap into being a top 10 pitcher? What if Jack Leiter takes a leap and becomes a really solid sub 4 ERA starter, sub 3.5 ERA starter? What if DeGrom stays healthy? What if Eovaldi gives us the season he gave us but 2 years ago? There's a lot there. The bullpen, they brought in a lot of arms. Hopefully for them, some of them pan out. Typically, if you bring in a brand new bullpen, means you're not in a good spot relief pitcher wise.
No, that's a tough sign when you have to kind of bring in 4 new arms like that. But I think with the rotation, they might not be the best in their division, but I think they certainly could be second best in the league in addition to their division. I think Seattle's rotation I would take, almost any day of the week over the Rangers. But I think the Rangers have that veteran, DeGrom, Eovaldi, and then that youthful Gore, Leiter type movement where they could be better than just about everybody else. And if Seattle falters, they can claim that title as best rotation pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that's certainly possible for them.
Now for everybody's favorite minor league team, the Sacramento Athletics. They added Aaron Savali, the reliever in free agency, 1 year.
Put some respect on the A's name.
Earn it first. Get a real ballpark.
Hey, they got players.
They do have some players, some really, really good players. Scott Barlow, the reliever, 1 year, $2 million. Mark Leiter Jr., the reliever, 1 year, $285,000. And then they claimed Andy Ibanez off of waivers from the Dodgers. The Dodgers tried to sneak him through. The A's pounced. They traded for Jeff McNeil from the Mets. The Mets got Yordan Rodriguez in that. The A's also got Luis Burgos from the Yankees. The Yankees got Max Scherzer. And then Justin Reimer, the shortstop from Boston. The Red Sox get Ryan Watson in return. They also extended Jacob Wilson, 7 years, $70 million.
Great deal for them.
From 7 years, $86 million.
Mm-hmm.
They did lose J.J. Bleday to Cincinnati. Jose Leclerc still a free agent. Sean Newcomb to the White Sox, where he's going to learn to win, just like Sir Anthony Dominguez. Anthony Maldonado, he's on Houston's AAA team. And then Scott McGough, he's a free agent as a reliever. My first question is, with guys like Wilson, Soderstrom, and I'm sure Kurtz they're trying to work on. They have a lot of really young guys. Can they? How viable of an offense can we see them having? Could they be top half of the league?
I think it's possible, especially you start including guys like Butler, Langlers, Muncy, McNeil's got a pretty solid bat still. It didn't work out quite with Geloff, but maybe he has a bounce back year for them and he finds his way into taking at bats as well. I think the Athletics, the A's, whatever you want to call them, Sacramento, Vegas, Oakland, wherever you put them to play, are a really actually fun watch in 2026 for baseball fans. There was a time period where it was the A's are playing, like turn this game off. I don't think so anymore.
I don't think so, and I think they go through periods. Remember, like 2018, Liam Hendricks and the A's. They had a lot of really good arms. They made the playoffs a couple years in a row, and then things kind of fell apart where they became an embarrassment.
Yep.
They will get back to being a nuisance to the rest of the league before doing what they always do and falling back again.
And a team this young is going to be hungry over a full 162. Like, they're showing up every day.
Now, does another season, they're in a minor league park. There's no certainty that they're going to even get to Vegas. There's a lot of question marks surrounding that. How much does that weigh on the players and the team?
I don't think at all.
I don't think
they lack fan support out there.
I think it might weigh on the GM in terms of making moves to improve this team. I think like this is a team that's more likely to just roll out the season with what they have than even if they're, if we get to the deadline and this is a playoff team, if the playoffs started at the deadline, I think that they're more likely to stand pat and just see where they end up rather than let's put our chips on the table. But again, the team being so young, a lot of all these guys know is the A's going through this. Like, it's nothing new for them. This is kind of where, like, Wilson, Kurtz, Soderstrom, like the core of this team, that's what they're used to. Maybe you see Brent Rooker moved at the deadline because he's a name that's always mentioned. But aside from that, I don't see this team making many changes this year.
I can see them taking in some buy low candidates that won't cost much. Some maybe a veteran here or there if they're close to the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe like a veteran relief pitcher or even a starter to eat some innings in the second half of the year. But I'm talking a big move.
No,
they're just
unless they're like somehow way out in first, like or something. And somehow,
but even if they're way out in first, why would you make a big move?
No, I think they're going to.
So the owner can prove to the rest of the owners that he's actually trying to win.
Yeah. I mean, but if he's way out in first,
and he's obviously trying to win.
He was cooking already.
I just feel like this A's team kind of reminds me of like the Orioles from a few years ago. We're just really young core coming up. Like, who knows?
I mean, that's the thing. You're bad for so long. You eventually get enough interesting young players.
Yeah. And with Jacob Wilson and Nick Kurtz,
they're a really fun team to watch. And I think, it's not starting this year. I think last year they broke through and became a team that people are interested to see. Lawrence Butler is a very fun player to watch. Nick Kurtz, Rookie of the Year. Jacob Wilson, until he got hurt, broke out. Langeliers
was going to be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Langeliers, great catcher. So they have a bunch of guys. Brent Rooker, everybody loved Brent Rooker 2 years ago. So I think they're a team that might not necessarily be great, but they will be pesky. They will eat at the heels of their division, and I think that they're going to have some fun moments.
I agree.
Now, on the flip side, you have one of the more recent embarrassments of a team in the last, recent history, the Angels.
Like the last decade?
No, I would give a little less than that.
Hashtag free Mike Trout.
Dude.
They added.
Every year I feel like we say this is the year, and then they're always disappointing.
Yeah.
But so now that nobody's saying this is their year, this is their year.
Brent Suter, 1 year, 1.25. Kirby Yates is a reliever, 1 year, $5 million. Jordan Romano, 1 year for $2 million.
Oh, man.
Alec Manoah, 1 year, 1.45. Drew Pomeranz, a reliever, 1 year, $4 million. They traded for Josh Lowe to play right field in the 3-team trade. Tampa Bay got Gavin Lux from the Reds and Chris Clark from the Angels. Cincinnati got Brock Burke in that part of the deal. Vaughn Grissom from Boston. Boston gets Isaiah Jackson. Grayson Rodriguez, one of the earliest moves of the offseason, went from Baltimore to the Angels for Taylor Ward. Remember, the Angels didn't even take a medical check on Grayson Rodriguez as part of that deal because they're shocked that he would have. They weren't surprised that he would pass. They thought maybe he would have.
I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand what the Orioles were ever doing there. Still,
They lost
We
Kenley
wanted
Jansen.
bats.
Kenley Jansen went to Detroit. Kyle Hendricks, the starter, is still a free agent. Luis Garcia, the reliever, is a Met. Andrew Chafin, the reliever, is a free agent. Tyler Anderson, the starter, is a free agent. Luis Rengifo, who everybody thought was going to get traded like 2 years ago, his value was super high. They decided to hold him. He's now gone in free agency, and he still hasn't been signed anywhere. 29 years old. Like I said before, Taylor Ward was traded. And then a weird little thing is Anthony Rendon won't be playing for them in 2026, but he's still technically under contract and he's not retired. They restructured him. They're going to put him on the 60-day IL. And the GM, Perry Meneisen, said that he isn't going to play this year. He's going to rehab at home, but don't expect him back. There's something weird going on, and the Angels need to play it very straight because this could be very illegal for them to manipulate the roster like that. If he's not actually hurt, you can't really put him on the IL.
I mean, he's hurt mentally and in his heart because baseball's just a job. He has I don't want to work-itis.
He's quiet quitting.
Hey, man, you got to respect it.
So what do we expect out of Grayson Rodriguez and Alek Manoah and really that rotation as a whole? Because those are two guys that have had some big moments.
Those two guys have vastly different expectations for me. I think Rodriguez is going to be good and Manoah is not going to be good.
Which is funny because Manoah was an all-star. Rodriguez never really got his footing.
Yeah, I just think the stock's going up on Rodriguez if he could stay healthy. I think Manoah was kind of like a one-hit wonder-esque player.
Merchant.
As soon as the pitch clock came in for Manoah, that was the end of him, and he went I think got sent back down that season to the complex leagues because he was so bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Rodriguez, his problem was just him staying healthy. If he's healthy, he's good. That's it. Like he's gonna be good if he's healthy.
I mean, you look at this Angels team. Aside from Mike Trout being awesome and Zach Neto,
Logan O'Hoppy's great.
Yeah,
it's just
Jordan Romano.
It's so hard to get excited about watching this baseball team.
You're not excited about Jordan Romano?
No, dude, and especially on the East Coast, man, Angels teams. I don't know how many I'm gonna ever see this year.
The Angels are just relying very heavily on bounce back arms this year, and it's like if they bounce back and do good, they're in good shape. If they don't, they are really, really
the Angels are fake trying, and the Angels might be the worst team ever in terms of the fact that you have an attractive market. Like you play in Los Angeles, and you still can't field a good team. The Clippers even figured it out.
And at one point, they even had Trout and Ohtani on the team and could not do anything.
Like the Dodgers are obviously the Dodgers. The Lakers, they're Luka and LeBron. The Clippers, Kawhi. They had Harden for a little while there. The Chargers, Herbert. They bring in Jim Harbaugh. The Rams, Stafford, McVay. You know how badly run you have to be to not be a decent team in Los Angeles?
I took a tour of Dodger Stadium last week. I was in Los Angeles, and half the tour, every other sentence was just making fun of the Angels. And it was just really funny that they're the Dodgers. I did get to see Hae-Sung Kim, by the way. Walked right by. Nobody recognized him. It was really funny. We were told after the fact. But half the time when we were taking the tour, it was Angels jokes left and right. Oh, we stole Ohtani this. And it was just really funny how I can't imagine taking a tour of Yankee Stadium or
best career move ever for Ohtani,
right? I can't imagine taking a tour of Yankee Stadium or Citi Field and having the tour bash the other team even a little bit. I just feel like Angels have no respect around the league anymore.
And yeah, I'm sorry if you're the one Angels fan out there that tuned into this podcast being like, finally, somebody's covering my team.
I mean,
because the belief just isn't like there's a couple core pieces that I like, but
I think
we're
they're
just not
cursed.
there.
I think they're cursed.
Yeah, it's called bad organizational management.
No, it's called homicide, but that's a story for another time. I was really big on the Angels until a certain thing happened. Not going to get too much into it, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Death surrounding the franchise, not good stuff.
If you know, you know.
And I hope you two know what I'm talking about.
Nope, no clue.
No,
Okay.
Nope.
no.
But their youth movement, they do have some really fun guys. Neto, Ohapi, Christian Moore is another one who I'm really excited to see take a step forward. Mike Trout, is this the year he demands a trade? Is this
He will never demand one, but maybe this is the year that they're like, hey, buddy, could we trade you? It's actually almost at the point where it's better for us.
I think he has to stay healthy first.
Can Mike Trout make it to the deadline to be an attractive trade piece?
There's also one team he's going to go to. I think it's only one option.
Philly?
I think the Phillies are the only possible outcome for a Mike Trout trade.
I agree. Mike Trout for Castellanos and not just like Castellanos.
Castellanos is still on the team, and I don't know what they're doing
to make
with
the money
Castellanos.
to make the money like achievable. Castellanos for Trout, and then you include like a Bryson Stott or something.
Bone.
Yeah, something to make the trade
I'd
work.
be okay with that.
Yeah, I could definitely see us getting to that point.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with moving Mike Trout and a guy who doesn't. I'd be okay with moving Castellanos and a guy who doesn't play for Mike Trout.
Yeah, because they don't play Bryson Stott.
Well, think about
Bones.
it. Trout in a change of scenery could also get a rejuvenation of his career.
Yeah, or he could get hurt 15 days into being on the team.
Like resurrect their careers on different teams.
It happens. But now that we have the teams individually out of the way, let's make our predictions. Pacoda, like we go over every year, these are rounded numbers to the nearest solid percentage. And the numbers from Pacoda are as of the day of recording. So they do change as the offseason and spring training goes on, but these are the ones as of today. So we're going to go from last place to first place. Pacoda has the Angels in last place with a record of 67 and 95. Give me an over and under, and give me your last place team.
My last place team is the Angels. You said the over under was what number?
67 and 95.
Under.
My last place team is also the Angels, and I'm also going to say under.
Ben's last place team is the Angels, and my last place team is also the Angels. I think the Angels either push or go slightly under. Fourth place, according to Pacoda, the A's, 76 and 86 is what they're projecting for the A's. I'm going to say over, and they are my fourth place team.
I'll say over. They're not my fourth place team.
Who is?
The Texas Rangers. Because I'm predicting the Rangers to get to the deadline, not be a playoff team, and then move off of Seager and potentially other pieces and go younger for the second half of the year. So it's always risky in the prediction game to predict a team to be sellers in July, in February. But here we are. So I have the Rangers as fourth place.
I have the A's as my fourth.
Chalk.
What do you think? I have the A's as my fourth, but I think they're going to go over. And I almost put them third. So
I did almost put them third as well.
I almost did, because it's like they're another one of those young teams coming up with like a bunch of players that I like. So I'm really high on Jacob Wilson, but I'm not really sure where they're at, especially with the pitching wise.
Right.
especially with them not having Mason Miller.
Now Ben has the Astros in fourth place.
Not even here to defend himself. Okay.
Third place.
Wait. You had the A's in fourth?
I had the A's in fourth.
Okay.
Third place, Pacoda has the Rangers at 84 and 78. What do you guys think for third place?
I have them under the Rangers, and I have the A's in third place.
I would have the Ranger. I would have them over, and I have the Astros in third.
I have the Astros in third, and I have the Rangers over. Ben has the Rangers in third place.
There you go, Ben. Way to bounce back.
Second place.
I thought I was going to be the highest on the A's, but here we are.
Second place, Pacoda has the Astros at 86 and 76. I think the under is going to hit for them.
I have the over, and that's because I have the Mariners finishing in second place.
I have the under, and I have the Rangers in second.
I have the Rangers in second. I have the under on the Astros. Ben has the A's in second place.
I don't hate it. I mean, I have them in third, so
Yeah, I mean,
I want to hate it, but I
like the belief.
I wanted to put the A's in third. Like I was closer to putting the A's Astros swapped than the Astros and Rangers swapped.
Mm. So you hate
the
my...
A's, like Ben's Orioles, like to my is that like is
no, I don't think it's that close. First place, Pacoda has the Mariners winning at 93 and 69. Me and Ben both have the Mariners winning the division. I just think the talent is too good to not make it.
I have the Mariners in second. I have the Astros winning the division. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think one of these teams finishes with 94, 93. The other one finishes 93, 92. I think it's about a game that separates these two teams, truthfully. I'm just betting that the Astros offense is that much more impressive than the Mariners this year. When I look at the Astros lineup, they're just 7, sometimes 8 deep. Whereas for Seattle, the big thing that we kind of talked about is the run production, especially if Cal Raleigh regresses, worries me a little bit. Obviously, they do have a better pitching rotation, and that's why I have these teams finishing so close, because while I think that it's possible that this upcoming season, the Astros could theoretically score 70 more runs, 70 to 100 more runs than Seattle, they're still going to be neck and neck because I think Seattle's pitching staff is that much better. And I would trust Seattle probably more in a playoff series and a small sample because of that. But over 162, I think offense can take you a long way. I mean, we saw it with the Yankees last year. They weren't built for the playoffs, but they won 94 games.
I think the moral of the story is Seattle, Texas, Houston, and the A's are all just so much better than the Angels that any one of those 4 could win the division more likely than the Angels.
Well, those 3 teams, I have them like all basically with the same ones, like no more than 5 wins separating third from first.
Yeah.
Like it can really be any 3 of those teams.
What's more likely? The A's finish as a wild card team or the Angels finish north of 75 wins?
I'd say the A's. I mean, I have them third, and I think that they'll be pushing that. So to me, that's definitely more likely.
I'd bet on the A's sneaking into the wild card spot, especially because there's 3 wild card spots now.
What's more likely, the A's being a wild card team or the Angels finishing anywhere but 5th place in the division?
Oh, that's definitely the A's.
Yeah. I feel like they're locked in as 5th. Like
they're locked in.
Even though I think the Rangers are going to be selling, I still think they'll be better.
All right. Now, just to go over it again, Ben has Seattle, the A's, the Rangers, the Astros, and Angels. 1 through 5.
Did we say which of these teams we thought were going to be playoff teams, or
not yet?
Not yet. Okay.
John has the Mariners, the Rangers, the Astros, the A's, and then the Angels. Dylan, the Astros, Mariners, A's, Rangers, Angels, and me, Mariners, Rangers, Astros, A's, and Angels. Obviously, me, John, Ben have Seattle making the playoffs. Dylan has Houston making the playoffs. John, do you have any other team in this division making the playoffs?
Other than Seattle and the Rangers?
Other than Seattle, you have
Other
the
than
Rangers.
Seattle, maybe the Rangers.
Give me a yes or no, because I'm
You
curious.
gotta commit.
Got to commit.
You know, I'm gonna just say with just the Rangers.
With just the Rangers or just the Mariners?
I mean, just the Mariners. My bad.
Okay.
My bad, just the
All right.
Mariners.
I am
Not the
sticking
Rangers.
with just Seattle as a playoff team. Dylan,
Houston and Seattle. They're both
Houston
in.
and Seattle. Okay.
I have them both making it. Yeah. When I said one team got 94 wins, the other one 93, that's not the cutoff line for the AL playoffs this year.
It wouldn't be surprising if it was,
Yeah, it's a good AL.
but that'll do it for the AL West. We'll be back at it with a couple of the Central teams, finishing up with the East and the World Series winning Dodgers and all that. Baseball's back. It's the 2026 season. What a time to be alive. Any final thoughts about the AL West?
Everybody picking against the Astros somehow makes me have to root for them this year. That way I could be right over all of you. So thanks for that.
I'd rather be wrong and the Astros stink, but that's just me.
No, I'd rather be right.
All right. With that, that'll do it. Dylan Mello, John Pauline, Corey Jason, Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast, signing off.